So, there were many instances of medical gaslighting that I faced when I went to see a doctor. And this gaslighting happens to patients because there's this uh, unawakened, unaware way of practicing medicine that is done in India, where most doctors have become a little bit of either lazy doctors or very cocky about the fact that they can earn money from any patient. So, as a result, many doctors just practice medicine for earning money rather than viewing medicine as a way to help a patient. That helpfulness aspect of truly helping a patient is gone from Indian medical practices in cities like Mumbai or Kolkata, because of which the doctors who even go into new training, even if they have the potential to be good doctors, mindful doctors, they eventually turn like these doctors who treat patients, but they are able to treat only those patients who are at the extreme end of the distress of something, or if their body's lab reports are showing something is clinically wrong with them, and if it is giving them a definite diagnosis, that is the time when a patient gets treatment in our country. There are those doctors who are definitely looking for something in a lab report, in a medical report. If that shows up, they will treat you. And there are those doctors who were just the general medicine practitioners. They just see ordinary people, and when they are who don't work in a clinic, who are not associated with the hospital doctors want actual lab reports. Whereas the doctors who are in smaller clinics, they usually get their money from any patient, and most of the time their patient population is some uneducated population, someone who is unaware about what is going on. They are a specialist, they are seeing someone who's been referred to them. Whereas if they are not a specialist, if they are just a general medicine practitioner, they will just see a patient, give them medicine and let them go. They are not mindfully practicing medicine in the sense that they are not listening first of all to the deeper things that a patient might be experiencing. They sometimes don't even ask those deeper questions, because their money is coming from treating anyone who is severely ill. If someone is really severely ill, you can see they have stomach upset, they have high fever, their heart rate is high, their blood pressure is high, something like at a very severe disease state level. They will give you some medicine. If you are really severely sick, they will tell you to go to a hospital. If in your symptoms that severe illness shows that you have a thyroid problem, diabetes problem, they'll refer you to a thyroid or diabetes doctor, which is how Indian medicine is practiced. And then in the hospitals, if you have been referred there, they will treat you. If you're not referred there, that is where the problem arises. But there are people who will not go directly to the doctor like me, or who will go to the doctor only not because today I have high fever, that's why I go. I am a single woman, I live like a single woman. Most of the time I live with a family member whose mental health problems are such an extent I can't explain in a short video, but because of which, if I am in the severest state of health, I have no one to take me to a doctor when I am near heart failure levels or near dropping dead levels. I can maybe call up an ambulance when I am near that level, but if I have the consciousness, then only I will call an ambulance. Until the time I have consciousness, if I have also physical fitness, I'll be going to the doctor. But when I go to the doctor, if the doctor's consciousness is not there that I am not seeing a standard patient, or if he assumes that everyone is uneducated, how can they treat a patient who is educated and well knowledged about what is, and also self-aware, which is where my problem was. I am a self-aware patient, so when I am saying I am having an acidic response to something, if the doctor ignores it, it is disrespectful, because I discern the difference between what is an acid and what is an allergy. How do I discern that? Because I have also been a chemistry student in my pharmacy days, I had to work with chemicals. So when I worked with chemicals as a pharmacy student, I know I have had accidents where chemicals fell on my skin. That's how I know the difference between what a acidic burn feels like versus what a simple skin irritation feels like. Now, will I trust a doctor? If I go to a doctor, I have told the doctor this is my symptom, they completely ignored what I said. They just assumed that I am just making up stuff. But why will I make up stuff if I am educated and aware? There might be some hypochondriac who might go to you, but you have to distinguish between the hypochondriac and a regular patient. And how do you develop this distinction? First, educate yourself that your patient population always is not going to be a poor or unaware patient population. That thing is only missing in India, firstly. That is also missing in US. That's why so many self-aware women, when they went to the doctor, approached, and we are all going to a doctor to solve our problem. But what doctors now don't realize, not every medical problem can be solved by simply applying medicine, giving medicine orally, inhaling medicine. That level of medical practice is gone from earth right now. It is slowly disappearing from earth, because of which I have made the previous videos of that medicine was practiced 30 years back in my grandparents' lives. Even then they died 3-4 years after their medical intervention, or 1-2 years after they were severely hospitalized. Why? Because the slowly developing symptoms of their health, they were developing in their body over time. That part of analysis of patient's health very rarely happens in any country. It is slowly happening in US, where for the severely ill patients, which is where when I mentioned my PharmD degree or my studying for a PharmD, I am not just mentioning it as a joke or as a way to boost my videos or something. I am mentioning it because that educational knowledge is relevant to clinical practices in US healthcare, and also if a PharmD exists in India also via certain degrees, if they have the right knowledge or clinical knowledge, they can help doctors understand this aspect of healthcare, that not every patient is just a severely ill patient whose symptoms will show up in a diagnostic test. Sometimes it will show up in the diagnostic test, but you have to do a deeper diving, which many doctors don't do. That deep depth of practice is not present in India and also globally in certain countries, because of which these women also who have posted these medical gaslighting stories, they are frustrated. Because firstly, women also have this problem of not being heard in their own homes, not being given agency in their own homes when they mention that they have a problem. That is the first step where women are failing. Many women, even if they are not single, even if they are married, if they are suffering through an illness in their homes, or if they are living with family and are unmarried, their family doesn't even understand that there is a health crisis going on with them. I have faced that with my health. My dad is more interested, and many doctors are also like my dad, who are more interested in thinking that a woman has a mental health issue, when she doesn't have a mental health issue. She has a physical health issue, which for a person who's not suffering that physical pain might look like a mental health issue. If I am really in extreme pain where my many systems are failing, no one is able to hear me, listen to me, understand me, am I going to be calm always, or will I sometimes get agitated and angry? If I go to if I have gone to 10 doctors, no one figured out what is my problem. When I go invariably to the 10th doctor, will I be a little bit more panicked if for 1-2 years I have been suffering through some symptoms and or multiple symptoms which have weakened my ability to function? And if I can't function as a woman, I know I live in a home where if I die today, no one will care. My mom died, my dad didn't even care that she has died. He went ahead with replacing her functions with getting maid servants and cooks. For him, that is all a woman is. Other things about a woman is not important to him. So he did this 20 years back when my mom died, 20 plus years back when my mom died. Now when I got some very similar symptoms as my mom too. I will mention about her health history, my health history related to her health history later. But I have had symptoms related to health history of my grandparents manifesting in my health a little sooner than them, because I am a combination of genetics of all these people who have suffered through certain things in their life that impacted their health when their earth was much cleaner earth. So when my grandfather, who had skin irritation problem, he was only exposed to 3-4 chemicals in his daily life that was constantly been used, minimum 3-4 daily use chemicals causing his skin irritation, whereas I am exposed to multiple chemicals, not just simply from my daily use, but also because once I stopped using those chemicals, I realized that problem was happening from water pollution. I mentioned in my previous video that from face wash I was seeing something, from just showering my scalp irritation was happening. So initially I thought it was a shampoo and soap problem. So, and shampoo and soap were impacting my health. If I changed the shampoo brand, some brands were not giving me the scalp problems. But when I was at a heightened state of allergy, where many allergens were causing health harm to me, my initial symptoms of allergy was just scratching of the skin. But when it had escalated into a more severe symptom, it was burning of the skin, it was inflammation inside my body. It was because my immune system is trying to get all these chemicals out from my body. My immune defense system is working hard to get it out from my body. My allergic responses are showing that this is where, via which I'm getting that toxin in my body. So if the toxin was present in my food, my throat was choking up. If that because at that time I was at a heightened state of allergy. If my food which if I was drinking water and the water was filtration device had been infused with some chemicals for repairing the filtration device, that time the chemicals from that filtration device water was causing my skin irritation, my throat gastrointestinal tract was burning. When I was inhaling chemicals from the vehicle fumes, again I was getting breathing distress, and that breathing distress, and I was also getting a heightened tachycardia. My heart rate, I tracked my heart rate for a few days, few months, and I found that every time certain exposures were happening, my heart rate was going to 150, 140, 120. Whereas my normal heart rate, when I used to be a pharmacist in US, we had a blood pressure monitor in near our pharmacy. So sometimes when the patients would come and check their blood pressure, I would also once in 5 years or something test my blood pressure. So 2-3 times I have checked my normal blood pressure and heart rate. My normal blood pressure heart rate used to be around, I know what is my normal blood pressure and heart rate. So my normal blood pressure was okay, but my heart rate was 20, 30, 40 points, 50 points higher than what I used to see when I was healthier, when almost 15 years back tracking. So when I'm seeing this increased heart rate is happening every time I'm doing an activity, should the doctor trust that information, or should he only trust what the medical report is showing? And the medical reports were showing many things. So I kept going from doctor to doctor, and some minor degree gaslighting to major degree gaslighting happened with them. And not just gaslighting, there's some complete ignorance of the fact that the patient could know more. This is where the doctors are failing, and I'm calling them a baby level doctor, because they are not, their depth of information about medical practice itself is very poor. Or it is at the level of only a distressed patient who is near death patient, or a patient who has got a symptom which is diagnostically showing up in a report. Otherwise they ignore the patient or don't care if the patient follow-ups. Hospitals don't care. It's true in US also, it's true in India also. Hospitals simply don't care if a patient, I didn't even get my FNAC report and pathology reports that the report has been done. No one followed up with me. Why? Because their system is entered that only a doctor's name has to be written there. And in that system at that time, I don't know which doctor's name they had written, because at that time I didn't want to refer the original doctor who gave me the ultrasound permission slip to go and get the ultrasound done. And that doctor being incompetent at a baby level, I didn't want to go back to her. I don't trust her if she doesn't listen to what I'm saying, if she didn't even listen to all the symptoms related to the health problem. Only based on a past report she's giving me the clearance to go and do a new report. Is she a competent doctor? Will she give me the right help when if her medicine also fails? Because she's not listening to the symptom itself. You think that person has got the listening capacity to see where, if say I got a side effect from a medicine. Because remember, I have a heightened allergy going on. When I have a heightened allergy going on from multiple chemicals, medicine itself is an additional chemical. If that medicine itself also causes some allergy now, or some worse health harm, because heightened toxicity is developing in my body, in my cardiac system. Later on I found my liver was also impacted. A few months later I did the liver test. But all these things that was slowly developing in my health from chemical toxin and poisoning happening in my body, and other radiation related things going on with my health. Multiple things were going on at the same time, and because multiple small degree or moderate degree things were going on in the report, deeply it is not showing up as a red flag, but they were still minor red flags present in my blood reports, which none of the doctors I went to had the courtesy to listen. Few doctors I went to, they listened very well. They were male doctors. 2 male doctors listened for a long time to my symptoms. But again, they also don't do the deep diving. Even though they listened to the symptoms, they didn't do the deep diving to understand the level of distress and panic I'm going through. I failed the stress test also, but because I failed it in what way also matters. And all these discernment is missing in medical practice in India. And it is a famous hospital in Navi Mumbai that is doing these kind of medical practices. So that is why I said in the previous video, you can spend thousands of rupees, and even whatever treatment regimen they can give, you can go and do that treatment regimen. But if you spend thousands of rupees or lakhs of rupees on a medical procedure that they will suggest to you, I know, be knowledgeable enough. If a doctor suggests to me a medical procedure, I can read up on it and know that I have enough clinical knowledge to know whether that medicine that is the right treatment for me or not. This level of discernment some patients do have about their health, because they have to decide. I am not working, so I have to decide whether I want to incur that expensive cost. Second thing, if I was also working, I would still think about twice about incurring any surgery or incurring any other medical procedure, because I am medically aware about what happens when a medicine will work for me and what will happen if the medicine doesn't work. And if I don't have the right support system to support my health, be it in the form of food, water, air, or the family who will take care of me, I can't go and get hospitalized severely just for fun's sake. That people don't understand, because people don't live my life. But me being a patient, I understand the limitations of my life. So I am more self-aware. I am more mindful of which procedure I will do, which procedure I will not do. So why am I saying all these things? Because there are many patients who are at this level now. This lady whose video I posted earlier, her dermatological problems didn't get resolved with chemicals. Why? It didn't get resolved by medicine, chemicals that were recommended by a dermatologist, which is the standard protocol for treating a dermatological skin condition. It was not working for her. She also might have felt that it was worsening her health, which can happen if your skin is, if my body, when I made the previous video about the way our things are absorbed in our body, the way our liver is detoxing our body. Now, if multiple chemicals are there in my body impacting my health, those chemicals my liver is trying to take out from my body via the liver's metabolizing function, and liver and gastrointestinal tracts functioning causes the formation of a poop, which will eliminate the toxin. If the toxin part of it is still there in the body, it will also get eliminated out via sweat or kidney functions as well, when the blood takes it out to the skin, and then from the skin it might get eliminated out via sweat. If it is a water soluble toxin, again it will get eliminated by the kidneys too. That's why you will get, if you have high chemical poisoning going on in your body from one source or multiple sources, your kidneys can fail, your livers can fail. There is also enough data, like in US, Tylenol, acetaminophen, crocin, these are the common names of this drug. This drug when you consume it for pain or fever. It's a very commonly used drug globally in multiple countries, that anytime we have fever, anytime we have body aches and pains, some body aches and pain medicines in US have this acetaminophen drug in it. And this acetaminophen Tylenol drug, it is also present in extreme pain medicines, also in narcotic drugs, also as a combination pill. So people have done enough studies in US to know that if someone is taking a lot of Tylenol or lot of acetaminophen based drug formulation, they have liver kidney damage happening in their body. How? Because if you're taking a lot of that drug, even though it is for solving your pain problems, while it is solving your pain problems, the drug is also accumulating in your body if you're taking huge amounts of that drug daily, via one pill or 2-3 different pills. Doesn't matter. What matters is a lot of accumulation of the drug has happened. It could be via 2-3 medicines you are taking, via one medicine being taken in a large amount. When 2-3 medicines or 10 medicines someone is taking, their health status gets worsened when they are getting suddenly hospitalized, and a hospitalist or a PharmD student analyzes your medicine profile and understands that multiple drugs are impacting your health. But when you are not in that severe level, even a person like me can have the toxic effect, not simply from medicine, but medicine and chemicals in my environment, or simply chemicals in my environment. That's when this lady, whose eczema was not getting solved by medicine, was not getting solved because her body is already toxed out with chemicals. What procedures she did, she tried to help heal her and she figured out her liver was getting damaged. So first she detoxed her liver. How did, after she has detoxed her liver, causing the liver damage to come down, she's also, while doing that, eating the right food so that her liver doesn't continuously get damaged. She wants to eat the food to heal her liver. That led her eczema to go away. How? Because if the liver was harmed, and it was getting harmed from multiple chemicals that she has absorbed in her body, eaten via her food, water, drink, inhaled via her hair, air, or anywhere, hair also, hair the universe is telling me, because say I have took a shower, or if she's using some hairspray like chemicals, I don't know her life history, but these are the common things women in a any country might be doing. We might be putting hair dye, we might be using hairspray. So all these chemicals, and hair is a guidance from the universe possibly, so all these chemicals that she's absorbing via different places, inhaling, eating, drinking, absorbing, and maximum skin symptoms showing up for her also means most probably the route of absorption is happening via scalp or skin. That's why most scalp or skin symptoms will show up for her. And while if she's using hairspray and that was the root cause, that hairspray chemical after being used, maybe she's doing some treatment to her scalp so that her hair stays soft, and those skin softening agents are not causing the eczema flare up in the scalp, but it is showing up as a eczema flare up on the skin, because on her skin she is not using that many chemicals to make the skin soft. Or even if she did use all these dermatology products, they have a limit, because they only are symptomatically doing something to reduce the flare. The actual flare that she was happening is inflammation happening in her body, allergic responses developing in her body to the toxic backlog that is happening in her liver, and then going to other organs, or from other organs it is going to the liver. Both routes are possible, because our body is an interconnected system. It's not just one thing is happening. 2-3 different things were happening to her body. Now she has figured out it is the liver problem. That's why she has done one step good processing. But if she really wants to not get this symptom at all, slowly, step by step, after doing what she has already practiced, she would also have to start eliminating the toxic source that was damaging her liver from happening in her health. Otherwise, it will be a temporary intervention of a few years. It will not be a consistent intervention if she doesn't slowly stop the toxin from getting absorbed in her body or being consumed, if some of the toxins were coming from her food and water. or if it is coming from the air, again same thing. So for me, multiple toxins were coming from different sources. The toxins that I have control of stopping, I have stopped using it, or I have minimized their use. Like I am getting skin irritation from also soaps, but if I go to the bathroom, do I have to use soap? So I can't stop using soap. If I want to go and go for if I'm exercising, going out on walks and I'm sweating a lot, do I have to still use a soap where I'm sweating? So I use the soaps, not soaps, I use washes. So body washes, hand washes, these are the products I still continue to use, but I'm trying to transition to some natural ways of using also. I tried making some natural shampoos at home using some techniques other people have found to be successful. Problem there now lies that if the quality of ingredients has chemicals in it, I'm getting skin allergy from that also. Like I try to buy amla, shikakai, all these combination products for hair shampoo that I made at home, but some of the ingredients there had heightened coloring given to the products to make them sell better. Now those coloring that they have given to those products now are causing scalp infection for me, scalp irritation for me. So I can't use that natural shampoo. So I have my skin, but look at my hair. My hair looks really good even now, despite not using any shampoo at all. For like in the last 4-5 years, I have used shampoo like maybe 5 or 10 times in 4-5 years. 4 years, not 5 years. In about 4 years, I've used shampoos only about 10-12 times. That's it. And very microscopic. Earlier I used to use this much amount of shampoo. Now I use only this little bit of shampoo if needed, if my hair is oily, if I'm going out somewhere. Otherwise, but how is the oil disappearing from my hair if for weeks I didn't use any shampoo? Because my water has likely some chemicals that are directly, my water has some chemicals in it which are washing away whatever oils are developing on my scalp. So I'm not getting, or my body, if I'm eating less oily food, my body also doesn't have enough oil to push it out through my hair. If I'm not going outside that much where oily particulate matter are there in the air, and when will the oily particulate matter be there in the air? When pesticides are sprayed, because most of them are oil soluble, so they are sprayed in some oil solution. So when those oily chemicals are not there in the air, or I am not there in the outside when those chemicals are being sprayed, my hair doesn't get it. So when my hair doesn't have anything oily, I don't need to use shampoo. So do you understand how earth pollution, if you reduce earth pollution, your need for chemicals will go down? And that chemical need has to go down, because if we continue the chemical load on earth, our air, water, plants, everything is dying. If the plants die, and they are in the slow crawling death. I have seen trees in all these places like Kerala, Goa, who are near death right now, because they are not able to sustain the chemical pollution anymore, like how my body is unable to sustain it. And all these analysis, now this was the blessing of the medical gaslighting. All this self-analysis of where my health was going wrong, what chemicals are impacting my health. If a doctor had gone and actually treated me and given me the right medicine also for that condition that I was suffering from, what would have happened to me when I was in heightened allergy and inflammation phases is that medicine would have harmed my liver or heart or any other organ. So that was the blessing hidden in them not understanding what is going wrong with my health. But the curse is, even though I have understood now what are the factors impacting my health, if society doesn't stop using these things, my health will deteriorate. I can go to the doctor tomorrow and get maybe after making this video, some doctor can approach me that I want to treat you. I'm fine, you treat me. But if you don't treat the systemic conditions present in the place where the patients are now having all these complex health issues, those patients can't survive anymore. Especially not people like me who don't have help. I don't have family to understand the depth of the physical disease and symptoms I'm going through. I have to every step of the way in my family life, I don't have people who can help me figure out or even support me for health. Because first of all, this is the barrier that many women have. in their family, they are the nurturing caretakers. If they are the nurturing caretakers, and I will not consider myself the nurturing caretaker in my family, because I've lived many years away from my family. So I'm not the major nurturing caretaker for anyone. I'm just the mindful person who knows how to caretake things. But because I live in a home where if I am living by myself, I caretake myself. But if I live with someone else and I tell them that this is the problem, water pollution is happening to you, you need to change it. I don't have the this is the problem of patriarchy and the elderly system in India, where people think, and also the healthcare problem of India. Three level problems I face. If I tell it to a doctor that these are the problems, they will not listen. They think my medical knowledge is stupid, or I don't know anything, because their awareness level is not there. Even though in their own practice this information is information for them, important for them to practice further better medicine. So forget the doctors in my family. Then next step comes with the people who have lived with these doctors, who go to the doctors for all their medicine. They have been doing it for decades. For my grandparents, they have done it. For my uncles and aunts, it has been done. For my siblings also, it has been done. I also used to take medicine. I also used to work in a pharmacy as a pharmacist, where my earning came from selling medicine. If I wouldn't sell medicine, I wouldn't get the salary from the company I worked with. But despite that, I am now talking about medicines not working anymore. Why? Because chemical pollution, another field which I have studied. So my knowledge doesn't simply come because I am a pharmacist, or I know how to read medical reports or diagnostic reports. It also comes because I was a chemistry student, and as a pharmacy student, I understand that how chemicals pollute the earth, or how from where the pollution happens in our body. Because I was a pharmacy B Pharm Bachelor of Pharmaceutical Sciences student, I was also a Masters of Pharmacology student, where as a pharmacology student and toxicology student, I had to study where the medicine in the body goes and harms my body. Now I don't practice as a pharmacist, I don't practice as a pharmacology student, I don't practice as this, I practice as a combination of all this that have helped me in take care of my health. Again, it can help me take care of other people's health also, but only if they awaken to what is going wrong. And if something that is going on at the chemical pollution level of heightened chemical pollution in your air, in your food, in your water, it has to be a societal change, global change. It just can't come from one person. But if one person doesn't awaken to this, that massive change also can't happen. So this lady living in a country which is western country, based on what I understood about her, in the western culture at least clean food are available, you have access to organic food, chemical free food. In India, even that is not there. I read some stupid studies. I felt like I got so pissed off, because this is the level of discernment in Indian. When they write even articles, they write such stupid things in articles. What stupid thing they wrote? Or whoever did these tests, they have found this stupid correlation, which is, why is it stupid to me, I will tell you also. I read an article which said that when organic farming is happening, the increased use of pesticides happen. This is the tagline of the article, and I felt so irritated, because this is the chronic problem of India. Why is this happening? And this is a systemic problem which is pissing me off. That's why I got very irritated. Not just simply the way in which the article is written, but the way in which the whole analysis is being done. Critical thinking, critical analysis is missing from many people's perception of what is going wrong with anything they are practicing in their life. Because here, what is wrong with the farmer who is doing, say, organic farming? If they have 10 acres of land where organic farming is going on, and around him there are 100 acres of land where other farmers are not doing organic farming, they are, why the article says they have increased usage of pesticides, they have found in that study. But after finding that, they are not concluding the right things. The right thing is, what has happened if one farmer or 10 farmers in a particular locality don't use pesticides, the manufacturer who has made pesticides wants to sell more pesticides. So he gives discounts to other people to continue using the pesticide, and the other foolish farmers continue using the pesticide because now they have got it at a cheaper rate. And what happens when humans get something at a cheaper rate? Have you seen what happens, like in and this is human pattern in US, in India, anywhere in the world. If say I got a buy one get one free offer for a face wash, that same face wash I was mentioning that gave me skin darkening, that face wash, first of all it was buy one get one free, meaning there was some chemical problems probably with it. But instead of recalling it in a country like India, it didn't get recalled. They instead offered buy one get one free. Ethically, if someone was functioning in our countries or other places, they would stop manufacturing that product, stop creating that product. But instead of that, they decided to not just manufacture it. If they had detected it at a manufacturing scale that there is some formulation problem, they just and they probably found, and what they might have found, and now here is my business information coming. So people underestimate that I don't understand where the things are going wrong, but that is not true. I understand it more because I have studied all these different fields. So when I am saying you need to stop earth pollution, or this is where it needs to be stopped, I am not just making assumptions. I am making a judgment call based on what I know about the steps in which this thing is malfunctioning. So with this formulation related face wash that I got, what was the problem? Possibly, even though I don't work in that company, but I can still tell you where the possible potential problem was. They made some formulation changes because of which once they started selling it, that product didn't sell. Because if I buy one little bit of that product, or one time I bought it and I saw that it is darkening my skin, it is reacting with the chemicals in my body or chemicals in my water, and I'm getting skin darkening. Most of us want to use face wash for brightening our skin. None of us wants to darken our skin. So people didn't buy that product. Now no one is buying that product, so that business decides I'm going to sell it at a cheaper rate because I want to dispense of the product. There is no product recall, no analysis, no critical thinking even in that company, that why is this product not selling. No one is using the right critical thinking processes to understand why it is not selling, to stop making such crappy products. Instead they are overselling the product now by making it cheaper, which some people who are poor or some people who are on a budget, who don't work, they will go and buy. So I went and bought it. For years and years I was using a different brand. Now the store that is stocking it, this is the problem with retail stocking. I have worked in retail, that's why I understand retail. What has happened to that company who got mass amounts of a crappy product? It will only stock that crappy product in that retail store until that crappy product gets sold. It is also, they are also observing and tracking, but again unethical work life is going on in India, and not just India, globally. So because of unethical practices or distorted thinking about why that product is not selling, if you understand and if you have already studied that this product is not selling, I shouldn't be buying that product and massively accumulating that product. But because someone might have accumulated that product, or they have to now dispense it, and I should also be mindful to not buy this product again. But instead of doing that, because I'm getting it at a cheaper rate, I will keep buying it and I will not buy the more expensive product because I am not able to procure it from the manufacturer at a cheaper rate. So the face wash that I use regularly, that was not available. So when it is not available, and then I'm also seeing this buy one and get one offer, instead of buying any other product that might have been better than it, because I'm not working, I'm on a budget, I bought this buy one get one offer and then faced a problem. It's not this one I'm starkly explaining because this one is, but consistently these kind of problems are there in multiple retail industry, multiple businesses, multiple farming practices. So that article that irritated me, where when they are concluding that increased use of pesticides are happening, what does government need to do? If they look at that article, if they are stupid people, they will not discern the right critical analytical thinking only what these people concluded. They concluded partly they are right, that farmers should group together and work in a particular area, which is true. Because say I am having 10 acres of land and around me 100 acres of land are continuously using pesticides. Even if I am doing all organic farming practices in my 10 acre of land. Because of the inorganic pesticide usage in the surrounding farms, now my land and the surrounding is going to still get polluted. So my organic farming tag also doesn't remain, because my water will be shared by them. The water flows everywhere in the land, so even if I have 10 acre land, my water flow can't be restricted, my air flow can't be restricted. Water and air just mix and mingle everywhere. So if they have sprayed chemicals on their water, on their plants, on their air, it will invariably come to the 10 acre land also. So it is true, those farmers who want to do organic farming, they have to go and section off in a particular area to do this farming. But what is again the false paradigm here? The false paradigm here is governments can't. If you want to really support organic farming, you have to also start making restrictions that chemical use has to be banned by everyone. Because now we are in a heightened toxicity of chemical exposures for everyone. Anyone who had got hospitalized and is still surviving from COVID, anyone who is getting medical gaslighting because of multiple diseases showing up in their body, anyone who is getting continuously some health issue again and again, repeatedly and chronically, all of us have no choice but to live a chemical free, pesticide free, herbicide free, whatever chemicals used in farming free food first. Not just food, we need that earth and land also to be clean, because if my soil is not clean, if my trees won't have good health, if the trees and food that are being grown in unhealthy soil now won't give me healthy nutritious food also, or if those same plants are used for my plant medicine, which I have found in naturopathy products like aromatherapy products. I bought this Vicks also recently. One batch of Vicks was good and had good eucalyptus and camphor smell, but the other batch of Vicks, I don't know what has gone wrong with their manufacturing. It hardly has any good smell of the things that actually make Vicks a good inhalational thing. For inhalational problems, people use Vicks all around the world, but the inhalational property doesn't come from the chemical composition. Now, being a pharmacy and cosmetic also learning person, I know what is usually there at the superficial level in the chemical composition of a cosmetic or pharmaceutical product, that is a cream or a ointment. This is a ointment, and in this ointment, whatever they are using for the base of the preparation is a crappy quality material, and whatever they use for making it scent well, which is the core active ingredient of it that helps people relieve their cough and respiratory problems. Now that thing is, if the plant source is contaminated, you will, even if you say your formulation says use 100 grams of eucalyptus, 100 grams of camphor or whatever, if the source ingredient itself are now not able to give you that, they are toxed out. If the tree from which you get the eucalyptus is toxed out, that eucalyptus oil will not have the same potency and scent and power to heal you. It is gone, that power is gone. So that's why it doesn't smell, hardly it smells of the eucalyptus or menthol and camphor and whatever else these ingredients have. I've forgotten to look at the Vicks ingredients, but these are the main ingredients of some of the Vicks inhalers. Either the inhaling small chain or the inhaling vapor rub. They all have some component of menthol, camphor, eucalyptus in it. And if those quality of ingredients are not coming from a good source, which will happen when the earth is polluted, land is polluted, air is polluted, water is polluted. And that same tree, maybe 10 years back, it was giving you beautiful eucalyptus oil, but now it won't give you, because it's so polluted, so stressed out, energetically it is dying, its functionings are dropping down, so it can't produce that beautiful oil for you. Same way, if you are not doing aromatherapy, if you're doing naturopathy, again the plant from which the naturopathy product is made, again if it is abused a lot, it will not give you the right delivery. Same thing with women. If women are abused and exhausted and don't get rest, don't get care at home, now that woman goes to a doctor, and will she be stressed out and anxious, or is she going to be cheerful? La 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 la, everything is fine and dandy. Everything was fine and dandy. I wouldn't go to a doctor. If everything, I had health supporting family who can see that I am ill, I won't be going alone to a doctor. If I am going alone, or I am going at a distressed state, and if I am a single woman also, I will again not go to a doctor at my heightened state of the medical problem. When I can muster up the courage to take a car or take a drive myself, because if I've lived in US, all these women who have faced medical gaslighting, I understand their frustration level, because if you are an independent woman, single woman, you have to drive yourself to the doctor there in those countries. When you're driving yourself to the doctor, taking yourself to the doctor, and medical systems are expensive in those countries, so you have to be also mindful about what medical expenses you incur in US, in Europe. So those people, they can't go to the doctor unless they have some finances to go to the doctor. If they have the finances to go to the doctor, they also have to have some degree of physical health to be able to take themselves to the doctor. And at the time when they go to the doctor, when they are in some moderate health status, while maybe 2 days back, 1 month back, 1 week back, their body was so weak they couldn't pick themselves up to drive the car, pick themselves up to take a bus ride to go. Do you think this perception level of doctors is only not there? They are thinking just because men can easily ask their friend, come with me, take me to somewhere, the friend will come. Women can't do that, because first of all, men, if they go leave their family and go and help their friend, their wives will be patiently okay with it most of the time. But or their mothers will be okay if they don't do something in the family, the mother will adjust and reframe and do something else. But if a woman does that, if she is married, if she's unmarried, that was the state where women can't ask. If she goes and asks a friend for help also, while she is unmarried, many of her friends are married, so her married friends can't come with her to take her to the doctor if she is unwell, right? So if she is married or unmarried, her getting help is much less than if she is living with family, not living with family, same problem. Even if you live with family, if your family doesn't have the emotional quotient to understand that you're simply exhausted, you're near death, they will not go with you. Or if they go with you also, if your family is not emotional quotient is such that you take medicine and you will be fine, again you will not get the right help, which happened to my mom. My dad will accompany her everywhere. He has gone and accompanied to a couple of doctors, but my dad has some mental health issue which causes him to talk about false medical history about the patient, when the real medical stress from my mother's health issues arose either from chemicals in her life or from the psychological abuse that she was going through. But the doctor looks at, oh, this is such an attentive husband, he's taking his wife everywhere to the doctor. Or the friends look at, he talks about his wife's health, he must be such a good husband. But no, the internal reality is completely different. And why did I have these kind of parents? Because after having seen what happened to my mother, after having experienced what happened to other relatives, these family history issues that I have mentioned here, and my own health history issues that have happened and unfolded in my life, I have realized something within the system that needs to change at multiple levels. And this realization I wouldn't have got if I had the perfect family life or if I had the perfect health. That's why I had to become a patient also. Now, if I want to go and work in the healthcare system, can I explain to a healthcare provider where you are going wrong? But if the healthcare provider doesn't have the right instinct and right compassion for the information they are getting, they will again fail at what they are doing and continue to fail. But while the healthcare provider continues to fail at where they are mistakenly doing some false healthcare practices, the patients who are like me, will our suffering go away if I continuously keep going to the same doctor who doesn't understand my problem, who only listens to part of my problem, who's not taking the comprehensive view of my health? Can I keep affording to go to such a doctor? Women are first of all energetically depleted. I am energetically depleted and burnt out. I can't do anything about the burnt out. When I was in the peak state of health, at that time itself I couldn't convince people about changing healthcare. But I had to go through this weak thing, because and now I have to say about these things, because I am near exhaustion level, near death levels. If I die, I don't see people correlating all these things that I am trying to correlate right here. And this correlation is necessary if any system of health and system of life wants to do better for themselves and everyone around them. If you're awakening to the fact that you need to do more for earth, if you're awakening to the fact that you need to do more for your employees, if you're awakening that you need to do more as a healthcare provider, then this part you have to understand how to become a better healthcare provider. You can't be a good healthcare provider if all your motivation is that whoever gives me money, that is the person I will treat. If you haven't done the deep diving, whoever will give you money is usually the one who's in severe distress. But the severe distress person only can come if it is a man, or if it is a woman who is super rich, super luxurious, super able to keep investing so much money on their health. If I am none of these women, if I am none of these men, I can't come to you, because you are not ready to listen to what is going on with me. And I am too exhausted. I am the person who has education of healthcare, who has education as a patient, and I have talked to so many doctors. Despite that, I am not getting the right intervention, because that right doctor doesn't exist here, and that right system to support my health doesn't exist here. I can go and take medicine, but if my body is toxed out and that medicine causes my liver to fail further than it already is failing, if I have a doctor who doesn't even listen to my symptoms, will he understand if I say I have liver failure happening? Even if my medical report show it, he might be in his blocked mind state of not listening to the patient. Or if my liver really failed to a massive scale, can I even think of going back to the doctor, or will I have to go first to the liver specialist? But again, if the liver specialist also gives which is where I saw a video of this girl who has liver failure happening, and now she needs liver transplant or something, because of which, but she has the same skin irritation issue that was showing up in that video itself, where the child is crying and scratching her hand, and her parents, being poor, are trying to crowdfund some money. But her parents also need to understand, every poor person to rich person needs to understand, with that girl the same thing is happening in some ways as that was happening to me and the girl whose video I referenced, who had eczema. That if you have liver damage going on, severe liver failure has also happened, which means that something chemically, biologically, microbially is wrong in your body. It could be all functions wrong, chemical microbial functions are impacting your health, or it could just be some chemical function impacting your health. So if she does a transplant and is successful transplant, if her home life doesn't support the right food, water, air, clothing, a home environment for her to heal, she will not be able to heal through it. If you have seen the movie Sky is Pink, that couple had also some I forget about the disease of the daughter. I think she had cancer. Whatever the disease she had doesn't matter, but that disease was a long-term disease where the child finally died, and it broke up the family. So when some family has a long-term disease suffering patient also, who was also financially strenuous to the whole couple, because expensive treatments are going to be needed by a long-term sufferer of a complex disease, then what happens is it puts a strain on the couples also, because they are constantly, one is constantly caretaking the patient, another is constantly trying to make money to caretake the patient. As a result, their marriage failed eventually when the person died, because they were both exhausted, completely burnt out from the caretaking and excess work they had to do to save the child. And they were likely a average middle class family of India. So from a poor person to a average middle class family person, or even a rich person, if the reason why the girl died is not simply she was getting treatment, but she still died because the conditions that were causing her to have that disease didn't go away from her daily life. So medicine after medicine she might have taken, treatment after treatment she might have taken, but she still failed. Because, and maybe nutritionally also she was getting a good doctor to tell her what to take nutritionally, but still the treatment failed eventually, which is what is happening to most of us. We are just not realizing it. The pandemic was a way to make you realize it. If you have family health history of people having died from cancer, liver disease, lung damages, whatever, organ system damages, long suffering, 10-20 years of chronic illness by someone, they are all manifestation of chronic earth pollution going on in the life of that person. And then there is also for women the question of domestic abuse, not being listened to, not getting right access to care when they have abusive family, not having right access to care when they have family who are just simply ignorant about or unaware about the deeper complexities related to healthcare of a patient. These are my problems. That's why I'm not taking any steps that will harm my health versus benefit my health. I can't take those steps. If I do, I will die. I know that for sure. And if I die, no one will be there to make these videos. That's why even when I was at the worst state of health, when multiple symptoms were showing up and doctors are not knowing what to do, I had given up. I had told God, if I die, I die. I don't care. Because no one wants to go through what I'm going through. No one wants this long suffering of heart near failure, of not being able to get up to cook, not being able to get up to go to the restroom. When going to the restroom, because the water pollution was extremely high, every time I'm taking a shower, my body is giving me all toxic poisoning related symptoms, one after the other, which I didn't realize the first day I got exposed to the chemical toxic water. But on the 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, those symptoms have developed in my body, accumulated in my body. I went to a state where I'm dizzy, I'm going to faint in the bed, I can't stand up. I have been resting on the bed for hours and hours. Only to make these videos. I get up to make these videos, only sometimes to go and get grocery. I do that too. Grocery, sometimes I order online grocery, which is a problem if the grocery person and store is not mindful of the products they are selling. Sometimes I will get crappiest quality food products that I have to eventually just throw away, which pisses off my dad, who comes from a poor family and doesn't understand. But if I live by myself, there is a health risk. If I don't live by myself, there is a different health risk, because of which constantly I am like in a state where which health risk do I navigate first, which is the better health like right now for me. It's like out of 10 toxins of my life, from physical to emotional to financial to medical, people not understanding what is toxic in their patterns of treating a patient, to a medical health system not understanding what is a toxic pattern of not providing right medical information to a patient. All these things I have faced in the last 4-5 years of my life, where I have been in those last 4-5 years, 3 years back, 2 years back, even today I have a health status where anytime one of my organ systems can fail and will fail if the toxic load in my body is high enough, from any of the circumstances related to my life, be it from a parental abuse, to be it from doctor abuse, to be it from family abuse, who just simply, even though they are doctors, they don't have the perception skills to value the education of someone else who is not a doctor but who has information from multiple healthcare related fields, all of which are impacting our health. So I am not writing this video to get a job. I am posting these videos, or I have written about these topics, because first, when I was in the debilitating state of my health, all I could do was write about it. Now that some functional health has happened, now I am speaking about it. And I am also writing simultaneously about other things also that I have woken up to, because I do some meditations, or because those things are also part of healing necessary for everyone. It's a comprehensive thing of healing people have to do. But if that comprehensive, each system of healthcare, governments, legal system, medical system, therapy system, if they don't understand the patient's level of problems, they can never resolve a person's problems. And collectively, that deeper level understanding has to come up. You can't simply assume that if a woman has gone to you and asking for help and is agitated and anxious, that she has a mental health issue. She could also be having abuse at home. She could also be facing challenges of having seen 10 doctors and you are the 11th doctor who is not understanding her problem. So in panic, she will talk to you. So that doesn't make her having a mental health issue. Or she could just simply be frustrated that while her husband goes to a doctor or father goes to a doctor, they get 10 medicines or immediate resolution to their health, whereas when a woman goes, her immediate resolution of health is not happening. Will she be frustrated or will she be happy? If I'm talking to family, now the family is also judging you have a mental health problem because you're angry while talking to us. Where will I go and get help? Am I angry because I am mentally ill, or am I angry because I'm frustrated that I'm not getting the right intervention? Now I am calm today. Why? Because the only intervention that has worked for me is praying to God and posting these videos to get the information out, so that other people who have better healthcare systems or better people and better family to understand their problem don't go through this, so that they don't have to suffer. If they have, at least, if you are going to die, you may die, but you can die in a good way and you can die in a bad way. If there are 100 chemical problems in your environment which is eventually going to cause your liver to fail eventually in 10 days time or 1 year's time, if you have at least loving family besides you or loving friends in your life, you can at least happily die, because the chemicals will do their damage. The happiness will just extend. Maybe instead of dying in 1 year, you might die 1.5 years. That is the only difference the chemicals and the presence of good family life will cause. Or if the doctor will extend you another 2 years maybe. But again, if you might have spent hundreds of rupees, thousands of rupees, crores of rupees for a treatment, if the actual factors related to your health that were causing health harm are not gone, your treatment only solves part of the problem. It doesn't solve the entire problem. And that's why people die after even getting expensive treatments to cheaper treatments. It doesn't matter anymore whether you're getting cheap treatment, expensive treatment. It doesn't matter anymore if you're eating cheap food, expensive food. What matters? Right food, right treatment, right strategy, right therapy, right way of living. These are the only things that keep a person alive. I am still alive despite my having many symptoms related to my grandparents as well as my parents. I'm still alive because I still have done some right strategies, and I have the knowledge to dispense which is needed in the world. That's why I am still alive. And I'm not saying it out of ego, I'm just saying it because it needs to be said. Because someone needs to wake up, some group of people need to wake up to change what they have the potential to change. But if they stay in the zone of not realizing where they have to change, where they have to shift, people are going to again die. The next level of pandemic that is going to come up, which I am observing here, is related to chemical poisoning and related to fungal infections, which one of my aunts has died from fungal infections. I also don't know, again, because family doesn't share information and also doctors don't share information. I don't know the details, every detail related to her health, but I will tell you she had fungal infection related chronic health problems that manifested in her life. At that time I was also suffering, she was also suffering, so I didn't correlate her fungal problems with her health until when she was hospitalized. And she had hospital acquired fungal infection, home acquired fungal infection, both happening to each other, to her health. So she was recovering a little, she was hospitalized for a couple of months before she passed away. The reason why she got hospitalized was not because of the fungal problem being detected, because everyone thinks if we have a fungal problem, it usually manifests as a skin infection or as sepsis inside our internal organs. When it is sepsis, because sepsis can sometimes make you feel colder, it is again a red flag that doctors ignore, or even family or the patient itself will ignore. And if it is a skin infection related problem, doctors will give you skin related medicine, or they will, if they have detected internally also you need some medicine for oral use, they'll give you oral medicine for it. but it doesn't solve the long term chronic problem. She kept recovering, and then she fell back, recovering and fall back. Why? Because fungus is present not simply in hospitals, not simply in homes of Kolkata. Fungal problems are present in the foods of Kolkata, because lot of fungicides are used in Kolkata and West Bengal farming, which has resulted in drug resistant fungus from manifesting, which is also and there is a lot more other problems, but this is the main problem I have found in Kolkata's healthcare systems. Like that, different places have different problems manifesting right now, all of which are resolvable, but only if combination efforts to resolve it is made. If the and people can't also suddenly one fine day decide, I will not use chemicals at all. When organic farming is happening in an area, the chemical company has to ethically stop selling more chemicals instead of starting to panic and start selling more and more chemicals. Chemical facilities are panicked, retail facilities, everyone is panicked that my business will go away. Yes, your business will go away, but I have not practiced as a pharmacist, but am I still dispensing knowledge about pharmacy and chemistry and other things related to the same things that pharmaceutical companies, medical doctors, and also chemical factory owners have to think about? I'm talking about the same field of expertise that they have. It's just that you have to shift your field of expertise and work to something else. For a chemical factories, expertise doesn't go away. If you stop manufacturing that chemical, you still have to clean up the earth. So you have to start looking into strategies to clean up the earth. You have to start looking at strategies where I can use chemistry and chemicals in the right way to align and balance back the earth, because not all chemicals are harmful, but the most harmful chemicals have to stop and have to be banned, and no replacement for those chemicals should start. Because this is what I have observed in Rajasthan, where I have observed that while organic farming is happening in pockets of Rajasthan, the same thing that the article mentioned, where they are mentioning that increased use of pesticides have happened. It just doesn't happen simply with farming. If there are 10-20 chemicals that have been banned by all the governments in northern India who want to do organic farming, they also have to put now ban of selling of those chemicals too. Otherwise those chemical companies are selling it to other people. They are making the drug cheaper, and the same buy one get one free starts happening. So someone who is a furniture store in one place started using those chemicals. Someone who is a home housewife, she's getting buy one get one free, she's buying that chemical. And now that I have more chemical than before, some people will mindlessly use that chemical also. Like if that package says use it once in 3-4 months, now I have excess of the chemical, I'll use it once a month instead of once in 3-4 months. These are all human tendencies, but these are all human health harming tendencies which we need to shift. I have also done it, so I have also suffered as a result of it. That's why I understand these tendencies also. It's not that I have led a perfect life. I've also made many of these mistakes that everyone else is making. But now that we have realized that I have realized that these mistakes are harming my health, like that if they are harming the health of other people, and they are indeed harming health of many people, people have to slowly stop using these chemicals. And if I suddenly stop exposure to all pesticides in my environment, I will definitely have a health problem. So the escalation of the problem that has happened with excess use of chemicals can only be de-escalated at small gradual levels. So it's not that every chemical factory has to stop functioning today, but the ones who are in financial distress, they have to stop working. The ones, and they should be restructured. Government should provide maybe some help, or the companies who are large companies, and if you have 10 factories of which one factory is failing, let it fail. People don't understand the value of failure also. Failure's value has been devalued, because of which people are not ready to accept a little failure. If you are a multi-millionaire and only 10 million is lost, what does it matter in the grand scheme of you being a multi-millionaire if 10 million is lost, if some group, some factory has to be closed? if you are looking at it at the human perspective, can you re-educate that the worker population to doing some other work? You can restructure their work and put them in somewhere else, right, if you're ethically concerned about your workers. But if you're monetarily concerned, should you be really concerned if you're a multimillionaire that you lost 10 million somewhere? In fact, you have been given that potential to have all this money so that you can absorb the losses. If a person who only earns 1 lakh 2 lakh loses 10 million, it is a loss. Like if he goes into a debt of 10 million because of some treatment, it is a loss. They have to crowdfund, but even them crowdfunding is no longer is a problem, because you will get back cancer, you will get back liver disease, you will get back whatever you are suffering from, if the locality where you live doesn't have the right health supportive factors for that patient to not get that disease. And if maybe say they are taking medicine after getting the liver transplant that protects the liver, but if the chemicals were there in the environment, now instead of liver damage, maybe cardiac damage will start in that patient. And the patient already is showing skin damage. So that skin damage will continue. Because you are not treated the root cause, right? You've given the person a new liver. But did their body detox from the chemicals in the body? Is that body detoxed? After detoxing also from those chemicals, say I get a treatment for chemical poisoning and I am detoxed from the chemicals. If I don't find a place where those chemical free environment is present in my air, water, food, will I stay healthy, or will I again get back some other disease from the same chemicals or a new set of chemicals? Because when a doctor is only treating my liver, doesn't mean by the time when liver is treated that other organs are not damaged. So for some patient, next time some other organ damage will show up. For some patient, next time cancer will show up. Which is how these medical malpractices patients are also, or medical gaslighting patients are also suffering in US, in India, globally. So I hope this was insightful, and if you have any questions, please drop me a comment. Thank you.